It's a love song, an Irish love song. And if you're familiar with the Irish, the love songs are a little different over there than they are over here. Typically, the Irish farmers don't marry until they're 30 or 40, or they usually wait until they've inherited the farm. And so a lot of late marriages. This gentleman is in his 40s, and he's taken by a young French lass who's just turned 21. One night at the bar I was having a jar, when me destiny had beckoned. A vision burst in on top of me thirst, and flattened me point in a second. It was a lady fair with short blonde hair, and her beauty would shame all queens, with her glistening lips and her piston hips and her slim-fitting Levi jeans. I slid off of me stool, observed the first rule. I checked me fly and me fonya. Got ready for a story of hither and glory, like Dermot Ecclesacronia. Me opening line was, "Hiya, sunshine, how's it going? Me name is John." And with a toss of her head, this goddess said, "I'm Chantal du Champignon." "Well, I'll be dead," I said. "You're a thoroughbred. You're an okay woman from Cavan. You're operatic, aristocratic, and very aromatic, so tell us, what are you having?" By the furrow in her brow, I could tell just how she was torn between a short and a long. "I'll have an Irish coffee and a pint of Murphy's," said Chantal du Champignon. She'd been hitching around, but as yet hadn't found any savages scouting for scalps. And she'd scaled the peaks of Kildare and Leaks, which left her homesick for the Alps. She'd seen nearly all of Donegal, learned sláinte, slán, agus beannacht. But some racial purist who couldn't stand tourists told her, "Go to hell or to Connacht." So here she lands with a week in her hands before flying home to France. And she'd like to get to know Galway and Mayo, so boys, I saw me chance. I says, "I'm your man, I've a high-ace van, and bugger all to do just now. And me 5-acre farm won't come to no harm, sure the calf can milk the cow. To you I'll show Galway and Mayo, me privilege and me pleasure. And in case you'll grumble, I'll do like Cromwell and throw in Clare for good measure. So to hell with the silage, let's clock up some mileage, you'll be safe as with your daddy." "Well, I like you more than I did before. I'll have a Smittix and a Paddy." So I drew up in the van. She said, "Oh, Jean, please don't take it amiss." Well, that's not, you'll find, what I had in mind. All I wanted to take was a kiss. Her eyes shone bright, and her teeth gleamed white, and her breath smelled of garlic. She tore into me lips like fish and chips in the shadow of Croagh Patrick. So next morning we drove by creek and cove, all along the western seaboard, and the music of her voice was twice as nice as the notes from any keyboard. For example, "Oh, Jean, you turn me on. You completely fill my senses. I can see in your eyes all the stars in the skies shining out through your contact lenses." Well, after such happiness, there was no stopping us. We clocked up hundreds of miles and spent thousands of hours around round towers of various slants and styles, near passage graves and lakes and caves and historic and holy places. By saint and hero we reduced to zero the distance between our faces. Now it was in the County Clare, I do declare, we drank many's a tasty beverage, and the intensity of our propensity was well above the average. Down at Kirkham-Row, where the gales do blow and the rains fell fast and furious, "By the gods above," she swore on dying love, and I said, "Jesus, this is serious." Then at Paul Nabrone, under 20 ton of stone, we drank rainbow-coloured wines, and in that dolmen I pitied King Solomon, he could keep his concubines. Well, I offered to show her the cliffs of Moher, and she showed me a thing or two too. In O'Connor's of Doolin, she said, "I'm not fooling. I wants to spend my life with you." Well, the days flew past as the week went past, between one thing and another. But she'd a plane to catch back to Perry Match to see her father and her sister and her brother and her mother. So we loaded up the van with cheese and ham and some six-packs from the fridge, with a Guinness keg for the final leg of our amorous pilgrimage. Now it was in Clonfirth, sure we had a little flirt, and we thought we heard St. Brendan cheering. In Clonmacnoise we discovered new joys, courtesy of St. Kieran. We drew into Dunlavin round 7:15, stopped in to see me Uncle Ted. We hit Glendalough around 11 o'clock and slept in St. Kevin's bed. Well, next morning we were yawning just as the day was done, and then it dawned on me, she's going. With the airport ahead, these words she said before she boarded the Boeing. "I'll acquaint me parents with what has transpired, and my paltry possessions I'll pack, and I will return on the wings of desire, and up as you are shack." That night I flew low by Athlone and Ballina's Low. I was home in an hour and a half. Well, I had to celebrate No, it was late, so I killed the fatted calf. Then I booked a room for our upcoming honeymoon where no one would be any the wiser. In raptures and ruptures, I booked our nuptials in the Galway Advertiser. Now for 6 days or 7, I thought I was in heaven. Sure, I was trying it on for size. But I was soon to discover, like many other lover, 'twas an Amadon's paradise. For while I was thinking the kingdom would come, there was chanting, hallelujah. Chantal was marching to a different drum, singing, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. Well, I danced and I sang till the night she rang. She said, Jean, sit down on the sofa, for I have some news that will give you the blues. In a nutshell, Sherry, it's over. On the plane coming back, I learned for a fact from a man who once was your friend. You spent 2 years in the loony bin, without marbles around the bend. Oh, Chantal, says I, you were told a lie, but that's neither here nor there. 'Twas 5 years I spent in the oxygen tent with a hole in me ozone layer. 'Twas the want of whoopee that had me loopy, and sure you sorted out that trouble. So apply some fire to them wings of desire and get back here on the double. Oh, Jean, says she, I quite agree that you could do as a woman. But if you sink, I'll be your shrink. You've got another sink coming. Consider beside, if I were your bride, in 40 years I would have no fun. For you are more than 42, and I am 21. Oh, yes, I would miss your eyes and your kiss and your fingers running through my hair. But if I lost my head in St. Kevin's bed, I got it back in the clear French air. I got off the jet, me parents I met. I got my act together. I saw the lines they would draw at a son-in-law who was a middle-aged Irish heather. Now, as sure as I'm blonde, of you I'm still fond, and I might even write. We'll see. I don't regret, and I'll never forget, our petit grand du paradis. Now I'm in a little hurry, so be happy, don't worry, and think of how fast you've grown. And when I opened me face to plead me case, she put down the bloody phone. Well, I staggered to the mirror and confronted with terror a poor put-upon pathetic Paddy of a peasant. And I made smithereens of the Levi jeans she left me for a wedding present. Then I made mincemeat of her other little treat, 2 lovely blue pottery goblets. And I sat down and wrote a suicide note and swallowed 35 quid worth of tablets. In a week I awoke, me heart nearly broke, for I suddenly chanced to remember I was in a proper mess, for I hadn't her address, never mind her telephone number. So I took a quick look in the French phone book. It was most unsatisfactory. After all me research, I was left in the lurch. Her daddy was ex-directory. Now another week went by, and there was I, a wreck by any reckoning. I lost 2 stone waiting by the phone, but the silence from France was deafening. Me breath I baited for the post, I waited all day and all night long. But neither letter nor card came up the yard from Chantal du Champignon. So I tried to make a pass at her via our ambassador. I told him with grief I was besotted. Well, he was very sympathetic, but something about ethics, and told me to get knotted. So I hired a spy whose fees were high to assist me research along. Well, he collected his fees, but came up with no leads on Chantal du Champignon. Now was she down at the heel in the town of Lille, or at large in La Rochelle? Was she looking on her hair at the Folie Bergère, belly dancing her way to hell? Was she singing the blues below in Toulouse, or picking pockets in Perpignan? And my God, what if her name were not Chantal du Champignon? Now a lot of water has been led to the slaughter since she led me this merry dance. I never took a wife and I wasted me life looking out for a letter from France. Oh, Chantal, Chantal, I love you well, more than in the time that's gone. Although you're going on 84 and I'm tipping 101. Well, I've outlived all me mates and I've lost all me slates and I'm back in the oxygen tent. And me ozone holes are scoring their own goals in the pitch-black firmament. I've more tears in me eyes than stars in the skies. I lost contact with me lenses. But I could still get through a dark night with you and recover me soul and me senses. Now you middle-aged nodders, when you come to dark waters, this warning take by me. And a vision fair has you walking on air in your local hostelry. Don't be a fool, stay up on your stool, sit tight, and drink yourself stupid. Give your number 1 to whiskey and rum, and don't waste your vote on Cupid. Well, because I'm jarred, please disregard the advice I gave you just then. Or you'll be stuck in first gear for 100 years like a bloody old barnyard hen. For when all was said and done, I once flew near the sun. For a week I was like a swan. I was on the wing, and I learned to sing with Chantal du Champignon. Oh, Chantal, Chantal, I hope you're still me pal. And don't think this song a blunder. For I adore far more than I ever did before the ground you walk on. Or maybe lie under. So take it in view, if I'm laughing at you, what do you think that I'm doing to me? Let's praise God and St. Kevin, and we'll find again in heaven Our petit grand du paradis, mon amour, our petit grand du paradis. Chantal du Champignon.